Should you do group training, small group training, semi-private, or one-on-one personal training when you're just getting started with your gym, or if your gym is stuck and you're looking to grow it and get to the next level, maybe you're trying to figure out which is going to be the best training format to be able to help you be successful. Guys, I'm Coach Chris, and I am here with the Coach to CEO podcast. You guys might have seen some of my videos in the past, but if you are new to the channel, my goal is to be able to help you build and scale your gym to make it more profitable, to make it more impactful, but most importantly, help you to grow to six figures and beyond. Today, I'm going to be walking you through this question, being able to help answer it with some experience, some of the lessons that I've learned doing it the hard way and doing it the easy way, and then everything in between, and how this using this format, which I'm going to teach you here in this video, is going to be able to really help you make an impact in your gym. It might be something that you weren't thinking of before, but after this video, it's going to give you massive clarity for you to be able to take action on, to be able to really develop a gym that produces income for you, so that you're not working around the clock and burning yourself out. So this question came to me the other day, and I was thinking about it as far as, like, if I had to start it all over again, what would I do, knowing what I know after 15 years of experience in the gym industry, running my own training gym for 13 plus years. Here's what I've learned throughout this process. When I first got started, guys, let me remind you that, like, I didn't always have a gym, right? I didn't always have a gym. I actually had a shed in my parents' backyard. It wasn't no bigger than this room that I'm sitting in right now. I only had a little bit of equipment, stuff that I could actually pick up every once in a while when someone was selling it, or I would go to the flea market and buy stuff. And I started to be able to grow my impact, or grow my clientele out of my backyard. I also would train people out of their house. So I was doing a little bit of semi-private in the beginning, and I was also doing some one-on-one when I would travel to train at their house. But I also did group training at the park. I would do boot camps at the park where I would put together, 10, 15 people. I'd put together some circuit training, and we would work out on the weekends. So I've kind of done every little thing that you can do in this industry. And today I'm going to walk through some of the pros and cons of each one, but then also give you a model that I think is going to work really, really well for your business. And this is exactly what I would do. So stay tuned, stay around for that one as well. So, like I said, when I first got started, I was training in a shed, and the whole way I came about this semi-private was that there was obviously mentors that I was studying from at the time. They were using semi-private, and when I was in my internship in Georgia, this was also something that my mentor that was helping me with that internship, Jamie, this was something that he ran at his gym, right? So semi-private was, we developed a program, customized training program for our client, and we would train them, but we would also train maybe 2 or 3 other people at the same time. Now, this worked really, really well in the beginning because I was new to training, so I wasn't charging a lot of money per session. I was only charging about $8 to $10 per session. So in the beginning, this really helped me because I was able to train 3 people at the same time, make $30 versus making $8 or $10. So at the end of the night, I'd have made about $90 of training, from training different clients that were stopping by at my house. And that's kind of how I got started. So as I started to grow my business, I got more clients. I was able to rent out some space at another gym and or a studio with some other trainers, and I kept that semi-private model. But now I was able to train more people. So I was training 4 people at the same time. Some sessions might have just been 1, some were 2, some were 3, some were 4. But the key to that in the beginning, and why this was successful, is that I was able to leverage my time, right? So in 1 hour, instead of working with one client, I was able to work with multiple clients, which allowed me to get paid more dollars per hour than if I was just training them one-on-one. Right? And in the beginning, I didn't charge a lot of money for one-on-one because I didn't know how to sell, or I didn't know how to charge. I didn't know how to do either one of those, right? So those are some of the problems that you run into in the beginning as well, is that you're also working way harder and you're not making enough money to actually make a living. But you're young, you're just getting started, and you're making an impact, so you're getting that experience. So everyone's got to kind of go through this phase in their career. So in the beginning, I was able to leverage my time, which was something that helped me be able to grow my fitness business when I first got started. Now, when I got into my other studio, the only problem that I ran into is I was training more clients now. So we had jumped from having 8 clients to now having 15 clients. And so that meant that I was writing 15 workout programs each month. Now, each program has an A and a B day, right? So there's an A day and a B day, and I'm training them 2 times a week. So that was 30 workouts that I was writing each week. Or I wouldn't say each week, but each month. That takes a lot of time. It's a lot of energy. And if you're doing a really good job, you're not just writing a training program in 10 minutes, right? If you're doing a really good job and you really want to deliver service, a high-level service, it's going to take you 25, 30 minutes sometimes to write a really good training program, right? So when you really think about scaling your business, it's really hard to scale that model because it requires more time as you grow. So the more clients that I got, the more time that I was putting on them as far as workload goes. So I would have more time that I was training on the floor, but then I was also more time in prep time getting ready for these clients that I was going to be working with. In the beginning, when I opened Impact, I had a little bit of a combination going where I was doing semi-private for the most part, and then I would have a group training where they would come in and do some cardio conditioning 2 times a week on Wednesday and on the weekend. Now this worked really, really well. In the beginning, I was able to, obviously get my name out there, get a lot more people in the door with this, but I was still writing a lot of training programs. And once we got to about 50 clients, this became something that was totally consuming my life. In the beginning, as me and my girlfriend were just starting dating, she would often get upset with me because I would never be able to go hang out with her on the weekend, right? So I would work all week, mornings and evenings, and then on the weekend I was writing training programs because now when you have 50 clients, you basically have to write a bunch of workout programs every single weekend just to make sure that you're staying ahead. Now, early on, I was able to bring on a coach to be able to help me throughout this process. So they were helping me with coaching some of the sessions, and they're also helping me with writing the training programs. Now, I got lucky. One of my first coaches was really good, really had a lot of experience, and she was really smart. So it wasn't a lot of training involved to be able to get her up to speed. We kind of both thought the same way. We both had certifications in the same company, so the strength and conditioning specialist. So I kind of let her go, and I let her do her thing because it was very similar to what I was doing. But what I learned is that I grew over time and I added new coaches into my program. It was a lot harder to find another coach like that. Not every single person that you hire is going to be, well versed in training and programming and periodization. So it is almost like finding a unicorn, being able to find someone that can actually do it. Now you can systemize this by giving templates and having exercise libraries and training people on it, but there's always going to still be that quality issue, and clients will start to notice, right, that this training program written by this person is different from that person. So if you don't have a standard in your company, you're going to run into this congruency issue where this person writes different than this person, and this, then you're going to hear the clients talking about it. So you start to lose that consistency with your programming, and it's really important that you keep that intact because you don't want someone being like, oh, I want to train with this person instead of that person. This is my favorite coach. You start running into problems where it's really hard to grow your business properly and not have to worry about, hey, are people wanting to work in their coaches? Are they competing with each other? You don't want that. You want team all on the same page, right? So these were some of the pros and the cons. We were able to leverage more time, make more time per hour with our clients, but we had more work on our hands and it required a higher level coach to be able to run that system. When it came to group training, this is probably one of the easiest formats for us to run. And the reason why was because I had to write one workout for that day, and we could train anywhere from 50 to 60 clients in that day using that one workout program. The only thing that we had to do was make sure that the 8 or 9 exercises that we selected had a regression and a progression. So that way, if somebody came in that was more advanced, we would just have them do the higher level version of this exercise or the workout. And then if someone came in as a beginner, we would have them do the lower level. So most people fit in the middle. You had a couple that fit in at the advanced, and you had a couple people that were a beginner, but everyone could train together, have a good time, and it really didn't require a lot of work, right? So you could could hire someone who is just getting started in the industry. And what I loved about hiring for team training was you're more hiring for personality, right? You're hiring for leadership and the ability to be able to run a group workout, have high energy, to be a positive mindset kind of person, someone who can lead the energy, high five people, and keep that, the positive vibes flowing throughout that hour or that 45 minutes. So it's a little easier. They didn't have to be as skilled. They didn't need to know periodization. They didn't need to know programming. All they needed to know was what was the workout for that day, how to regress it, how to progress it, and how to make sure that everyone had a great experience. So this was super easy to be able to put new coaches in and to be able to develop them and be able to give them that experience early on. One of the things that you'll hear me talk about a little bit later is going to be how to progress your coaches in your actual system so that you give them somewhere else to keep going as they climb. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more about our one-on-one. So one-on-one training in this time and age, I was using only when people weren't in the gym, because I found that people that wanted one-on-one didn't feel like being around anyone, and it was great because if they wanted to do this at a dead time in my gym, I was able to fill up those empty time slots with some one-on-one training clients, and it was good because it made the gym some money, and it was a dead time. No one would be training at that time anyway, so this just allowed us to be able to take advantage of times that most people weren't training. The only downfall with one-on-one is that it's a high ticket product. So you really need to have experience with sales to be able to sell this, because if you sell it too cheap, you're really just going to end up being in this problem where you're working harder and you're not actually getting paid for the work. So it becomes more of an issue with your growth, right? If you're too tired because you're bogged down with one-on-one training clients that aren't paying what they're supposed to be paying, then you're going to have some problems when it comes to growing your gym. So I don't always recommend one-on-one training for people unless you have that ability to sell at plus $100 per session. So if you can't sell a package at $100 plus per session, then you probably shouldn't be doing one-on-ones, because it's probably not going to be as profitable for you. Semi-private, a little bit better, a little more wiggle room. But like I said, you need higher level coaches when it comes to that. So you need to be really good at hiring, really good at training, have better systems in place for them to be able to execute. But the biggest problem that I see with semi-private is that the ones that are good enough to actually run it for you and run it well, they typically are using your gym as a stepping stone to be able to get experience, and most of them have the mindset that they want to go out and they want to do their own thing. So when you're bringing on somebody, you don't want to just be bringing someone on to work for you for 6 months and then you have to replace them and do all the staff training all over again. You really want to be bringing on someone who's going to be with your company for a year, 2 years, 3 years at a time. So when you're really thinking about what's the best bang for your buck as far as what program you offer, you want to be offering something that's going to be easy for you to get them in, and then a pathway for success and pathway for growth that keeps them in the company without having them learn everything that you do about periodization and training and how to write programs, and because they're just going to take all that knowledge and they're just going to move on to the next thing, and you're going to be left with an empty spot that you have to fill. All right, so that's one of the downfalls of semi-private that I found, and I want to tell you what my favorite one is, which is small group. I love small group because this reminds me of when I played baseball in college and when I was playing football in high school, that we were in the weight room, we were all training together, we were banging weights, lifting, it was a lot of energy. Like, I remember the best days were when I was with my team in the strength training room. I love strength training, I love training for performance, so when I am coaching, I come alive during these sessions. I love helping people hit PRs, getting stronger, seeing them progress, right? But if you think about the customer journey, when they first get started, their goal is to lose weight. Most people, 60, 70, 80% of the people that are going to come to you, they are going to tell you that they want to lose 10 to 15 pounds when they get started. So this is why I actually prefer, although my favorite is small group, I prefer large group training. And here's why. People that are just getting started want to lose weight. So you have a program that's going to be geared towards losing weight. It's easy to scale, meaning you can easily just drop another 5 clients in there. You can train 15, 20, 30 people at a time, and the workouts aren't super complex. You're doing goblet squats, TRX rows, pushing sleds, swinging kettlebells, doing mountain climbers, right? Doing some burpees, depending on, we use squat thrusts. We don't necessarily do burpees. It's a little safer version, but the exercises aren't high risk, right? So they're not doing a ton of you don't have a whole bunch of people doing deadlifts, right? We're not deadlifting with 20, 30 people at a time. They're not doing power cleans or anything complex like this. So it's easier to coach a lot of people, right? So that's the benefit of group training. The downfall is sometimes it has to be a little bit more generic, right? But we're going to fix that here if you hang out with me for a couple more minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that generic problem with how I think about how you should scale your business, right? So I love the group training. You get it to your max capacity, meaning in the morning you might run 2 or 3 classes and you try and pack those out, right? You want to have 15, 20, 30 clients, whatever your space limit is. You want to get it to capacity so you can fill that up, and you want to be able to fill up 2 or 3 classes in the morning, and you want to be able to fill up maybe 2 classes in the evening for your after work crew, right? Now, once you've done that, you've been able to create a capacity of, anywhere from 60 to 100 members in your gym. And what we charged was $200 per month to be in our team training. Now, you're not going to get $200 a month unless you structure your program the right way. Most people think about selling classes, right? And that's one of the worst things you can do. You don't want to sell classes. What you really want to do is you want to sell a program, a package, a transformation. You want to be selling a result. So as long as you have it packaged the right way, you're going to be able to close people at $200 per month. And how we did it was that we offered other parts that were going to help them get the result, right? So they're coming in for weight loss. We're going to sell them on a program that delivers weight loss. So they might have other things like accountability and stuff like that that's going to help them get there that we add on to our program. This is how we get them to be able to say yes to $200 per month. So now, if you have a group of 200 or a group of 20 to 30 people, everyone's paying $200 a month. This is an extremely profitable model because you're only paying one coach. And typically, when they're just getting started, you don't have to pay them a ton of money, right? They're at a lower tier, and they're going to make 15 to 20 bucks an hour, maybe 25, depending on how you look at things. I think that 20 bucks an hour to teach a group training session is appropriate. Now, as you start to progress, right, and you hit your capacity in there, now we can talk about adding on another layer, right? Adding on another layer of service or adding another tier of value is what I would call it. So we want to think about this as a value ladder, right? So we want to think about in the first rung of the ladder is just our team training. Our second rung of the ladder, we're going to add something. So this is where those other formats come into play. You could do small group. You could do semi-private, you can add on one-on-one, but now you have a level that you can progress people to and upsell them into, which is going to help them pay more money per month. Now, I like small group, and this is what we were running. We were doing team training small group in my gym, and here's the reason why. The thought process here is they come in to lose weight, 15, 20, 30 pounds. So you help them with that initial goal. Now, if they have more weight to lose, 10, 15 pounds, well, in the beginning of their journey, the first 15 to 20 pounds is easier to lose with some nutritional changes and just moving more and exercising. But as they progress, your nutrition coaching needs to progress with them, and your training needs to progress. So they need to be doing strength training, right? Some type of resistance training to be able to continue to boost their metabolism and help them with hormonally being able to lose that last 10 to 15 pounds. Now, the other thing, the psychological side of this is that people are going to want more in your program. They want bigger goals, right? Once they lose their weight, what's next, right? You always want to be thinking about that. Like when you solve this problem, what's next, right? So my client loses weight. Well, now we're going to train them for strength and performance, right? So we would have leaderboards in our gym and PR boards where, we're trying to hit a deadlift PR or a bench press, or we're trying to do push-ups or pull-ups, right? So these are goals that are based on performance, and these actually take a lot longer for them to reach. So if you're thinking about training wise, they may reach their goal in say 3 months or 6 months when it comes to weight loss, but when it comes to performance, right, they may be training for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And this was one of the secrets to our retention, was that we had this level where they were now training for something else. They were training for increased performance, which they were going to be around for a lot longer because they were going to continually raise the bar on their goal, right? Someone deadlifts 200 pounds, well, eventually they're going to want to deadlift 300 pounds, right? So we would have these weightlifting competitions to be able to motivate them and keep them inspired. but this was a way that we were able to keep people in our gym a lot longer. And the beauty is that if they came in at $200 a month for team training, we now could upgrade them into into small group, and that could be $299 per month, where they're getting more value because you're working on strength training, you're working on boosting their metabolism. It's better, they have to work on their technique, their form, so the coaching is more involved, right? And they're in a smaller group, right? So instead of being in a large group of 20 to 30, they're now in a smaller group of 8 to 12, and these people are all geared towards getting stronger and performing better. Now, on the coach side of things, you're going to be able to have a tier in the beginning where they come in and they're a team training coach, and then the next tier they can become a strength coach, right? So in my gym, this is what I was developing, which was a level 1 certification where they come in and you teach them how to be the best team training coach that they can be. All the session standards, the impact way, how to motivate people, inspire them, how to make sure they do things with the right form, how to regress, how to progress, right? All of that stuff. So they learn how to become a great coach, and then they go on to the next level, which is they learn how to be a strength coach. So they learn the intricacies of training and coaching, and they're able to progress in your program. So someone that starts off, they're able to like, oh, I can see that I can get better. I can, do this, sir. I'll make more money in the gym. I'll make more impact, right? And then after they finish that, you could teach them how to coach nutrition. So now you've given them another opportunity to be able to deliver more impact and grow in your gym. So instead of someone coming in and being there for 6 months to a year, you can bring someone in for a year, 2, 3 years, so you keep your coaches with you for a long time by showing them a value ladder for themselves, right? A growth value ladder for your coaches. Your clients, they get a value ladder as far as how far they can continue to grow in your program. And this allows you to be able to kind of always have that next thing, right? Everyone always wants that next thing. Like, what's next once I reach this, right? So you just raise the bar for everybody. And this is the best way that I think that you can do it, right? So you start off with group training, you max it out, and then you open up a small group training program and you sell it with a challenge, and you give people an offer for them to be able to join it for a short duration period of time. And once that challenge is over, it's like, okay, great, awesome. Like, let's get you to stay with this program. And like, so would you like to upgrade this and continue on? And they're like, yeah, I love this, right? So now you've gotten people that were in your group training to upgrade in a small group. So they're going to come to team training a little bit less because now they're doing strength training. And you can now backfill those empty spots with new members into your gym that are just starting their journey. So you create this loop where it's like, we have new members that are just starting, we have members that have been in here for a while, now they're progressing, now the members that are progressing are doing this one less, so we create more space, right? Some people are obviously going to leave your gym eventually, so you just are constantly creating this flow that allows your business to be able to put new people in and constantly upgrade people to a higher value of service. So that is the way that I would do it. That's the way that I teach in the Impact Launch System in my fitness business mentorship, is that we start you off with building out your gym and all of your systems that you need in place, right? Your retention systems, your customer value system, which helps people stick longer than your first 90 days, right? Your marketing system so you can put people into the program, internal, external, all that good stuff to be able to progress people and upgrade them. We do that for you. It's plug and play, the team training system, so you don't have to write workouts ever again. You just plug it and you let it go, and now you focus on growing your gym. That's what we teach inside the launch program with our 12-month license, right? Now, what I would say is that the biggest thing that you got to do is if you're already doing something, right? If you're already doing semi-private or one-on-one, right? You don't have to just break the business, right? You can just say, hey, we're going to start this new thing, and you can start putting people in and building some excitement about it and start making that shift. Because if you really think about it the way I'm explaining, your goal is to max out this program so that you can get the most amount of value in there, right? The most amount of money and profit, and then create another tier so that you can actually become more profitable, right? So you're more profitable with less members, and that's the goal, right? You don't want to be training 60 hours a week and just like running yourself into the ground. You want to really just have a couple time slots throughout the day where you can put the max amount of people in there, get the max amount of dollars per hour from your clients, create a great experience, deliver a ton of value, and make something that your customers never want to stop doing. And that's the goal, and that's the reason why I say to do it this way. That's why I think you should do it, and I hope that this video was able to help you and bring some more clarity. Do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up if if it did help. Share it with another coach or a trainer that you think it can help. And most importantly, check out the description section below. I have some resources. One, you can join our newsletter, our Coach to CEO newsletter, where each week I'll be able to dive into some tactics and strategies to help you with your marketing, your fulfillment, and your systems, as well as our 7 gym owner mistakes that are keeping you stuck. This is a guide that I put together where it will paint the picture on the 7 things that you need to fix in your business right now to be able to get it to doing 6 figures and beyond, right? Multiple 6 figures. And hey guys, leave a comment. I'm always looking for new topics to talk about on future videos. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.